All right, so in terms of dog reactivity, let's say we have a scale from 1 to 10. Okay, so 10's up here, 1's here. Let's say your dog hates the vacuum. Normally, dogs are going to be somewhere in this vicinity down here as far as just their overall when nothing's going on. 1, 2, maybe even a 3. Excuse me. So what happens is, again, your dog is afraid of the vacuum. This happens. We get this huge spike. And when this spike happens, a lot of times I see people act quickly and erratically when their dog is barking because we get lost in this moment thinking that it's never going to end. This barking, my dog's reacting, especially if you're out in public, we think this is never going to end. Being a parent, I've had that feeling when your kid reacts or a baby, and you see it on other parents' faces too, and dog owners. So this is very natural. What we don't listen for is the silence. We always listen for the noise. And so this triggers us, and it's hard for us to stay calm in these moments. But hopefully by the end of this, you'll see where this goes and how it works. So here's your big spike that happens up here. Invariably what happens is, because the dog's just barking at the vacuum and you're just going to leave it there, you're not going to give it any movement, this will start to dissipate a little bit and come down. Now, because a dog can spike so quickly, the adrenaline, the blood, everything starts flowing. The dog cannot come straight back down out of it. It's just, I haven't ever seen a dog be able to do that. And so what happens, because they can't come back down, this has to work its way down, and then you may get another spike here, and it comes down, and it comes down. You may get another spike, even higher than the first, okay? And then it comes down, and they come down, and it might end up all the way down here with like a oof, something soft. Most of the time what I see is people, as much as they try to correct and stop this, they try to correct 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 this, which in my opinion is wrong, because if we look at the overall trajectory of this, what is actually happening? The dog is coming back down out of the clouds. And because we are just focused on these spikes, we're not actually listening for the silence, which is also in here. So if we approach this with our dogs, that we only listen for the spikes and we don't listen for the silence, we think these are never going to stop, and the dog just does this over again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spikes here. But what we're not, again, listening to is the intensity of the spike, and also that this wasn't as loud. This one was a little bit louder, this one was softer, this one was softer. So your dog is actually trying to come back down out of this. Instead of us being on top of the dog, almost micromanaging, going, no, 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 the trajectory of this is that it's coming down. Now, when they finally come back down out of the clouds, and we're down along here, this is the time to now turn the vacuum on and off quickly. So it goes on and off, and the dog goes right back up for a moment, probably, I'm guessing. But then, knowing what we know now, we're going to wait for this, and this spike, and this spike, and then they come back down again. And then down here is where we turn it on and off again. So if you see these moments of where we're turning it on and off again, where are we actually doing this? We're doing it when the dog's down lower on the intensity scale. Most of the time people bring out the vacuum, their dog barks at it, and then they turn it on, and then they start moving it around. So then what happens with the dog? They just stay right up here the whole time, because it's almost like we're challenging them at their peak. We're not waiting for them to come back down out of the clouds, back down to somewhat of a relaxed state of mind, and then proceed from there. So this is actually how dogs can become predictable, is understanding the intensity of the bark, listening for the silence, and then the trajectory of everything. Now, if you're in a situation where things are outside and your dog is way more stimulated than just the vacuum, this is going to be drawn out even more. And another factor that goes into this too is how much energy your dog has. How much gas is in the tank? Because are you exercising daily? Are you walking daily? Are you playing daily? What are you doing to drain energy and challenge the brain? Because if you're not doing anything, this can last a very, very long time before the dog starts to come out of it. So this is why I always say drain then train. So drain some energy before you bring the vacuum out, and know that this is the way this is going to work. And as long as we don't keep challenging the dog when the energy has spiked, and we do it down here when it's lower, we're much more set up for success through this repetition.